one and only Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, thanks to the absolutely incredible support from the folks over at ThreeZero, we're going to be taking a look at their new Transformers Revenge of the Fallen Deluxe Scale Optimus Prime. Now I know Revenge of the Fallen is not a lot of people's favorite Transformer film, but for me personally, I still enjoy it. And the way that Optimus looked in the first 3 films is my preferred look of Optimus Prime throughout all the films. I just think that he looks awesome. For the package, you can see that you got a really cool image of Optimus standing right there in the front. Honestly, I cannot tell if that's an image of the product or if it's an image of the CGI, because it looks that darn good. But you can see that he's standing in front of the pyramid, so it's that desert battle. Of course, you got the Transformers text right along the side, Optimus Prime, Revenge of the Fallen. Top section here has some of that kind of desert motif there with some Cybertronian glyphs, the Autobot logo, all that fun stuff. Side here has an image of the flame detail on Optimus, which I think is absolutely gorgeous. Come around to the other side, that kind of carries over. Come around to the back, and again, you got kind of a dynamic look for him. Again, I don't know if that is an image of the CGI or the actual action figure. I think there is some special lighting effects done in this picture, but either way, it still looks really cool. And then you come around to the front, and it does have a little magnetic opening. You can see, on this side here, again, I don't know if that's the figure or the CGI, because the figure looks just about as close to the CGI as I've ever seen. And you'll see that here in a bit, but that looks cool. Side here, you have an open window that fully showcases the figure, all of his accessories, and then again, real cool detailing along the side of it. I absolutely love that. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and let's see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have the new ThreeZero Transformers Revenge of the Fallen Deluxe Optimus Prime opened up and out of his packaging. And first and foremost, he does come with an instruction sheet, which I absolutely recommend going through and covering as extensively as you possibly can. It goes over basically everything, including how to swap out his parts, how to activate his light up eye feature, even going down to his actual body movements, which is really very, very important because there is a lot on this guy. And because of all the articulation of various parts and different components on him, it's very important to know which parts are actually articulated, because some pieces move but really don't have much movement in terms of overall articulation. Starting off first though, coming down to take a look at his accessories. First off, you do get this very impressive display base. You can see Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, and then much like some of the other ones that we got before, it does have this little hinge section which you can then move there, locking that into place, so it adds a lot of stability to things to compensate for the weight of the actual figure, including having like this extending piece which does lock in, and then you do have, where's it at? It's up here. So now it is locked, but when you depress this button, you can bring that back down. And again, you can put it here, locks it into place, can extend it up, locks it into place. I really love how they do that. Also, this piece right here can remove, and you can see solid ratchet joints there that lock everything into place. This isn't meant to rotate. Those ratchet joints are meant to, I shouldn't even call them ratchet joints, they're just locking points. But you can rotate that around so that, again, the weight of the figure is fully supported by that heavy-duty locking mechanism. Absolutely love how they do this. And it's done in a very kind of Transformer-ish sort of fashion where you can see some really cool tech detail and everything on there. Really love the way that this turned out. It is similar to what we've got before with the other releases from ThreeZero, but it's still worth pointing out. In addition to the 2 fisted hands that you can see on him, he also has several other hands. He's got, what do we got? We got some relaxing. I didn't put these in order. We got a right and left trigger finger hand. They're basically mirror opposites of one another, but you can see you got the little trigger finger sort of position. You have a right and left relaxed hand, which is the fingers extended downward. You also do get a pair of kind of action figure or action pose kind of hands. Some people complain because we don't get articulated fingers. I really don't mind that all that much because the fingers are very small. And if you put an articulation joint in there, that would make the fingers bigger than they really accurately should be. So complaining about not having articulated fingers, in my opinion, is kind of pointless, but you know, it is what it is. He also does come with a replaceable mouthpiece. You can kind of see here getting, that's going to be kind of hard to see because of how tiny it is. I'll show how to swap that out here in a bit. But he does have a battle mask as well as the regular mouthpiece that I don't even know if you're going to be able to see that. But is that upside down? I can't even tell. But you do have that as well. I'll show how to do that here in a bit. You also get his Energon axes, which look great. You have a gorgeous translucent orange section here with a little bit more paint on the primary bit right here to give a level of depth that really does shine. I mean, I love the way that turned out. You can see you got a little bit of Cybertronian written on there. Of course, you got the gorgeous gunmetal gray. Everything on here is really well done. And again, you got a both right and left one that you can utilize. And then, of course, he does come with his ion blasters. This one here, you can see that I think it was basically shown that these transformed from his gas cans and stuff like that. I mean, for the most part. But you can see gorgeous detail on there. This one here is basically the exact same, but the bottom section here, I wonder, you know, I mean, there's a little slot right here. Oh no, you know what? Oh no, there is a little slot right there as well. So they are identical. Just this one has this little extra section here that makes it look like the gun is transforming from his arm, and I'll show that here in a bit as well. But it makes it look like it's more incorporated into it. You can see gorgeous blue paint, very metallic looking. That is absolutely stunning. But if you wanted to take that off and just have the two blasters, you could see that, oh no, I'm holding it upside down. They are opposites of one another. Well, no, they're not. They're identical. I'm sorry. But still gorgeous darker gray paint right here. Some nice silver paint. Got some gold elements on there. Really very cool. I kind of wish that maybe there was a little bit of a scorching around the barrel section, but all in all, that still looks really cool. And again, because they're identical, I mean, it doesn't really matter what you do with this, but you got the little tab section here that comes up, and we'll tab underneath that. Well, if I can get it, there you go. Come on, there we go. Just tab that right up like so. And again, cool that you can do that. And like I really like that. I think it was on this one. I don't know if it really matters because it looks like it's identical. I like the fact that they make it where it replicates that little scene where it looked as if his gun was literally just transforming out of his arm. So I love that little bit. That's going to go on this side, which you'll see here in a bit. But for his accessories, that's everything. And it's a ton. It's very simplistic. I mean, I do kind of wish, I mean, this is the Revenge of the Fallen version. It would have been nice if he came with, say, the Matrix of Leadership, the Fallen's face. I don't know. I mean, something. But I get why they didn't. Part of it is because the cool thing about this guy is that there are parts on here that are actually removable, which will allow you to combine him with a future release of a deluxe Jetfire that they are also making. So you can create that full-on jet-powered Optimus Prime. So I feel like they had to do a little bit extra engineering in this to have removable parts so that you can incorporate it with the other figures. So by minimizing some of the accessories, although realistically, I mean, this is enough. I mean, this is sufficient in my opinion. I'm just saying that maybe because of the extensive engineering and having removable parts on here, maybe they have to cut the budget a little bit more to prevent us from getting some of those other accessories, like a little tiny Matrix of Leadership, something like that. Now, coming in to take a closer look at Optimus, this is spectacular. I mean, realistically, the amount of detail that ThreeZero continuously puts into all of their figures absolutely blows me away. In particular, these deluxe scale figures, because they're smaller than their premium ones. But they are just absolutely screaming with detail as those larger pieces. I mean, even to the point, I don't know how well, let's see, I mean, a lot of this stuff can kind of move around. You got his Autobot logo right in there. That's kind of hard to see, but you can see his Autobot logo built in there. I mean, all the detail, when you look, you got like his engine section here, you got the little headlights here. All these gold and silver bits that connect everything are various other parts of the car. I mean, I talked about how like this, or truck, I mentioned that the look for Optimus in the first three movies is my kind of like go-to look for him. Because the detail in here, he looks like a truck still. That's one part that I really did not like about The Last Knight in Age of Extinction. It made him look like he wasn't really a truck anymore. But you can see all the different details. I mean, like little tiny paint applications right there in the back of his arm. I mean, why do you need to put that there? You don't need to, but they did it. And that's fantastic. He's got like little butt plates right here. You can pop this piece out, moving that out. That's where the display stand actually kind of connects to him. So I love how they got that little piece right there that fills that in. The tires, I mean, there is some assembly that is required, and you do have to put the tires on them. But you can see that even that has like a little bit of dirt in there. I mean, just really unbelievable level of detail. You look at the legs, the gorgeous blue elements on there. You can see a little bit of scuffing on there, which is very accurate because for some reason, when they were in vehicle mode, they were completely smooth and perfectly clean. But then they would transform and they would have all this gunk all over them. Like you can kind of see like a little bit of dirt on his arm there. But you got the flame detail, which looks great. Very nice metallic job with the paint applications through there. Come down here to the lower section. Again, you can see the blue elements. Very nice metallic shine throughout the entire thing. The tires, the feet, everything on here just riddled with detail. That's all. I mean, you look at the inside here. I mean, absolutely incredible the amount of detail that they're able to put into this. And there's some heft to this guy as well. I mean, he is a very substantial piece. I mean, God, that's just blown away by the detail. I mean, I have reviewed like the Prime 1 Studio statues and things of that nature, and those are statues. They're not articulated at all, and they have an amazing amount of detail. This, it's like all the joints are so wonderfully incorporated that he basically looks like he's a statue. But then you start moving around like, holy crap, he's actually articulated. Now, going over some of his articulation, again, make sure that you go through that instruction sheet because that's going to cover basically everything. You got these little bits right here, which that can articulate up. You do have a joint right here, and again, as you move it around, you can see that little piston piece kind of moves around, and then you have another section that rotates out. So look at that range of motion there, and again, everything is hidden beautifully. You do get a butterfly joint, so you can articulate that forward and back, and again, you can kind of move this, get that out of the way, and articulate that, and then when you do it, all those details on the inside there still show up, and just, it's all there. All of it is there. Everything that you could possibly think of. You come down here, and I'm probably going to miss a lot of articulation points, but the head here has basically two joints, it feels like. You got a little hinge that you can see looks real far down, real far back, rotates perfectly fine all the way around. You do have a swivel at the upper part of the bicep. You do have two bends here at the elbow, so you get, again, a gorgeous range of motion, and it all blends in beautifully. The wrists are on ball joints. You can pretty much move that however you want. You can see that these little bits right here do move around. Those have to be added on as well. And again, you kind of want to move that around to kind of help facilitate some of that articulation. You got little pieces right here, getting that kind of out of the way. These little pieces can move around and kind of fluctuate in different areas and such, just to kind of expose a little bit more of his chest. And then these bits here, these can also move away. You can bring these little bits out. You do have and again, I want to be very careful with this because a lot of pieces do stick out, but you do have an upper diaphragm joint. You also do have a lower section, so you can, I'm trying to hold on to this, you can articulate him way far down at the abdomen section. Again, you got a great level of detail that does come out here. His little trailer hitch is right there. But again, you want to kind of move these little bits out of the way to help you kind of get the clearance for that. And like I said, you do have a little rotation right there. You also have a rotation at the lower section. That one's a little bit more tricky to get to. Kind of just like hold there and rotate. But you can see that you got two different joints right up there and then a lower one right at that section. Again, you can move these little bits around, move that kind of back, filling in that little area. Those also do rotate around, so kind of put that there. Kind of move these out again, just kind of move some stuff. You got little bits right here. These little sections here do kind of fluctuate forward and back, again, to allow you to get some range of motion with the hips. These little pieces also do move, again, allows you to really just get a great range of motion. Get that out of the way. So that's really cool to see. You do have a rotation at the upper part of the thigh, but again, kind of put your hands in areas that are solid so you can really get a good grasp of things to rotate that around. You got little knee panels that do move forward and such. You got two bends here at the knee. This little piece here can get out of the way, and then you can angle that back very nicely. Now, I was talking about how you do have some panels that can be removed. As I talked about, we are going to be getting, and you kind of want to angle that back so that you can keep that kind of positioned properly. We are going to be getting that Jetfire figure, and you're going to be able to remove parts. I was kind of showing it off before, but for example, this completely detaches, and then you're going to be able to add pieces to him. So putting that there, that's one kind of part here that does kind of move around. Come down here to the leg section, rotate that out. These little pieces also can be detached, so you can add those pieces onto him there. Get that back on. So again, pieces do kind of pop off, and you want to be careful that you don't damage anything, obviously. Come down here further to the legs. These little bits here can rotate around. You can angle the foot forward and back, in and out. This piece here folds back and forward, so you can, again, move that kind of around, move that back, and then you can bring the toe up a little bit more. Just a tremendous amount of articulation that really, you are really going to need to go through that actually. And again, you got the little butt flaps here that allow you to move things around and get things out of the way. So just really take your time, really make sure that you get everything completely under control. That way you know precisely what is going to be happening with this guy. You don't want to damage him or anything. I mean, he is still an expensive piece, and you want to be careful. Think Hot Toys level. But you know what's even amazing is, like, Hot Toys, they can kind of cover things up because they wear clothes, right? He's not wearing any clothes. He is completely exposed, and all the detail is there. I mean, he is... Oh, I didn't even notice that hinges up, and that also flares out. I mean, I'm just discovering stuff right now as I go along that really I didn't expect. I mean, absolutely stunning amount of detail on this guy. Overall, though, again, I don't know how much I'm able to stress this, but this is an absolutely outstanding piece. I talked about Hot Toys and how they do a terrific job of recreating characters, but to a degree, they almost get to cheat a little bit because all they really have to do is, tailor a really cool costume and then cover up the body. Now granted, that still looks amazing, but with what ThreeZero has done here, honestly takes it to a whole nother level. First, the paintwork on here is outstanding. You can see an absolute gorgeous shine throughout the entire piece. Articulation-wise is phenomenal. There's so much that's hard to... I honestly do not feel like I've been able to find all the pieces that are articulated. And the amount of detail that is put in this blows me away. Every single aspect of him is intensely detailed, creating an absolute gorgeous representation of Optimus Prime as he appeared in the Revenge of the Fallen film. Another great aspect of this figure is that they engineered removable parts so that when their Jetfire piece comes out later on, you'll be able to remove pieces from that and attach to him to give you that full jet-powered Optimus Prime, which was a really cool look. And all around priced at about $220 some, this is a great piece to add to your collection. I absolutely could not recommend this enough to you if you are a Transformers fan, either, someone like me who grew up with Transformers in the 80s, or even those of you that grew up with the Michael Bay movies as their G1. This is a great addition to a collection, and without a doubt will shine in a display. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. There's your look at the new ThreeZero Transformers Revenge of the Fallen Deluxe Scale Optimus Prime. If you'd like to pick him up or any of the other figures from ThreeZero, I'll put a link right down there in the video description, where you can go online to places like Big Bad Toy Store and check out availability on this guy, as well as any other ones you may want. And finally, guys, remember that the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. Thank you all for watching and taking the time to be a kid.